Hi guys, it's Majesty Ibianga here with the Financial Drive-Thru, and it's good to be back. Now, as you may know, 2 weeks ago, Facebook announced the launch of its cryptocurrency called Libra Coin, and this video is coming a bit late, but I wanted to get as many facts as I could before I put out anything, just so that it's not so much speculation as is common on the internet these days. And so today we're going to be taking an in-depth look into Libra Coin. We're going to be covering questions like whether or not it's safe, is it good for cryptocurrency in general. We're also going to be looking at what's in it for you, the regular user who will be using Libra Coin, say from 2020 when it's launched. So as always, if you're interested in this kind of content, definitely smash the like button, hit the subscribe button so you can catch my other videos as they drop. And that's it, let's drive through. So ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is the official Libra white paper, and this is a document that basically talks about everything you need to know about Libra. Now, it's not so long that you can't read through it. I'm gonna put a link in the details section of the video and probably drop one in the comments as well, so you can just check it out easily enough. And I mean, it is a good read, but for those of you who aren't too used to this, we're gonna talk through it so you can generally get an idea of what Libra is offering. So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be covering a lot of questions here. Some of these questions are questions that I've been personally asked about Libra, and others are questions that I saw online. So we're going to do our best to answer a bunch of them. And the first one is really, what is Libra, okay? So Libra is Facebook's own cryptocurrency, right? And what they said is that it's going to be used to transfer money between users across their various platforms. Now, it's good to point out that Facebook actually owns both Instagram and WhatsApp, so already they have a huge user base. Now, along the course of this video, I'm going to ask you to actually pause and picture a couple of things, right? So if you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have WhatsApp. These are easily the three most used social media platforms out there right now. Now, payments across all those things are going to spread the idea of cryptocurrency and the blockchain, and basically make people more curious about the space. So this already kind of answers one of the other questions about, is this good for cryptocurrencies? Okay, the general idea is yes, it's going to foster adoption because more people are supposed to be able to use Libra. Now, the idea and what they say is their mission is that they're targeting the 1.7 billion people out there who are currently unbanked, don't have any bank accounts, don't use credit cards, don't use any of those things, because most of these people already have phones, they have mobile phones, and a bunch of them are already connected to the internet. So the idea is that Libra Coin is supposed to foster adoption on a very large scale and probably make it the first mainstream cryptocurrency if you think about it. Now, I know there are Bitcoin maximalists, myself included, who love Bitcoin so much, and we want to say Bitcoin is the one currency that is spread out there and everybody is going to use it, but I mean, we're all keen on the little adoption. So already I would say this is a pro for Libra. So our next question, why Libra? What does Libra even mean? Libra, the zodiac sign Libra that most people already know, is basically to signify balance, okay? And Facebook is actually making this cryptocurrency to be a stable coin. Now, the idea behind stablecoins is that they're actually pegged to other currencies, so more traditional assets, if you will. And the most common ones are usually pegged to the US dollar. So you would find one stablecoin would be exactly equal to $1 at pretty much every time. And there are a few of them, we've talked about them before on this channel. There's True USD, Gemini USD, there's the most common one, which is Tether. Now we're going to be having Libra Coin coming onto that field. But Libra Coin itself is going to be quite different from traditional stablecoins because it won't be pegged to one single asset. It's going to be pegged to a basket of currencies. So you're going to see it pegged to the euro, the US dollar, you're going to see it pegged to the yen. As of now, it's unclear exactly how many or which currencies in particular, but the general idea is that it's not going to be pegged to just the US dollar. Now, we also have stablecoins that are pegged to other cryptocurrencies like the DAI token. And so the idea is a bit different, but what they really all do is that they kind of minimize the volatility in the market. So to clarify this, I'll give an example. Now, Bitcoin's price is always fluctuating up and down, okay? So just how many weeks ago, about 3 weeks ago, we had Bitcoin at about $6,000, and today it's at 11,700. About 3 days ago it was about 13,000 or so, and then it dropped down to maybe 12,600. So how do you protect your investments? You buy Bitcoin at a certain price and then you're seeing the amount in your wallet increasing, okay? and you go away, you don't look at it for a while, you come back and you've seen a smaller amount. So what most people use stable coins to do is when they feel they've gained enough profit, they've made enough gains on their initial investment or how much Bitcoin that they owned, what they usually do is they transfer that value into stable coins. Now, if the price of Bitcoin should drop back down to say maybe 4,500, you're still going to have that amount in dollars in the stable coin. And so you can pick the moment you want to jump back into the cryptocurrency and, continue on. It's really a good way to just secure your gains if you get the gist. So not to spend too much time on this, how is Libra going to be so different from Bitcoin? Now, it is key to understand one thing, because a bunch of people have been seeing messages, people asking me, oh, are they going to buy Libra Coin? When can they buy Libra? Should they buy Libra? There's so many questions and people are all excited because it is Facebook. So what is key to understand is that unlike Bitcoin, Libra's value is tied to government issued currencies like the dollar, the euro, the pounds, the yens. And so it's not a coin that you're going to buy simply because you want it to grow 100 times as valuable the way people buy Bitcoin. I was having a conversation with some of my friends the other day, and I was telling them how this, Bitcoin is generally a good investment at pretty much any time of the year you want to buy. And one of them asked me what his return on investment was going to be. And it's a fairly common question, because the very idea people have about Bitcoin is you buy a certain amount of Bitcoin, you hold on to it, and in 6 months or so you're a millionaire or whatever. The general idea is most people think in ROI when they come to Bitcoin. And if you are an OG in the game, if you've been in the Bitcoin space for a while, you come to understand that it's not so easy to calculate these kinds of things, because between 2017 and 2019 the market was pretty dormant. Nothing was happening. Okay, I know a lot of people who had to sell stuff to try and make ends meet because they'd over invested in crypto. People who invested in different things and have lost money. It's very hard to measure an ROI if you think about it in the traditional sense, and so it's already risky based on the market volatility. And so with Libra, you're not even going to get any of that, because the price is essentially going to be fixed to the currency that you're dealing with. So if you're in the US, it's going to be the USD. So the stable coins are not something you buy. Stable coins are what you should use to hedge against volatility and kind of protect your investments. So that said, if we think about Libra based on the zodiac term, it actually means balance. It's supposed to bring balance to the market. It's supposed to help prevent the wild swings of conventional cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum, based on the volatility that we see in the market. So I guess what Mark Zuckerberg was thinking when he brought this idea was bringing stability and balance to the space. Now that is something that's going to be very good for institutional investors, all the big companies that are coming in. And this brings us to the next question. What's Libra going to do for you, pretty much? Can you invest in this? Now, like most cryptocurrencies, Libra Coin isn't decentralized, okay? This is going to be run by a centralized entity, which is Facebook, alongside the other 27 founding partners who are going to be running nodes. I'm popping up a list of the founding companies that are already on board with Libra Coin as of today, and amongst them you can see MasterCard, PayPal, Stripe, Visa, Facebook, of course. There's Uber, there's Spotify, there's Lyft. We also have Vodafone Group, and for cryptocurrency purchases, definitely you're seeing Coinbase over there. There are a bunch of these companies that have come in. Now what's interesting to understand is each of these companies put down $10 million just to be able to run these nodes and to be part of the launch of Libra Coin. Now, so to answer the question, would you be able to invest in it? If you have $10 million and basically you can prove to Facebook why you won't be a part of the founding partners, I guess you could, but there's obviously no point to that, and I don't see why anybody would want to do that, because if they're making this currency to be available to all the masses, then you're probably going to be able to get it. Now, what does this mean for you? How is Libra Coin going to work? Now, again, I want you to picture all these companies that are over here, okay? Now, if Facebook, like we said at the start of this video, owns Instagram and WhatsApp, you can expect that you will be able to pay for stuff across these platforms. So the same way you see all those advertisements on Instagram, you would be able to buy and sell stuff, I guess, and receive and give Libra Coin to other users, and that should be easy enough. But now when we think about these founding companies, what is in it for them? Okay, so for example, I can use Uber because I mean, to me, that is one of the most logical use cases. If you take an Uber ride, you're probably going to see a situation where Uber is going to give you the option of paying with Libra. Okay, and obviously they're going to offer you some discounts or what have you, just so you can foster adoption and make sure it's working. Now, as they run a node, these companies are the companies that are going to be responsible for validating transactions, not you. So unlike the way conventional blockchains work, where individuals can run separate nodes and verify transactions on the blockchain, in this case, it's only going to be these companies who can verify transactions on the Libra blockchain. Libra is even going to be making their own blockchain. They're not going to be using a conventional blockchain. So I mean, there's a whole lot of gist online about whether or not it's even a cryptocurrency, if it's an actual blockchain, which it technically isn't, because it doesn't exactly follow the usual rules that all the blockchains follow. So there's a whole mess here when you have to think about it. But in the grand scheme of things, is this good for business? I would say yes, because it's definitely going to bring mainstream adoption to cryptocurrencies, and I mean, the blockchain is going to raise ideas and all that. But the downside is what we're already seeing today, and that's because governments are already looking into this and are, quite uncomfortable with the idea that Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, would have this amount of control. Right now, Facebook is trying to prove that this is not going to, affect anything. They've actually put out claims saying that this is not going to be a financial grab. They're not trying to get user data, and they will not be using the information that they have for targeting adverts at you and myself, and basically that all the information that you put out there is going to remain private. Now, do we have to believe Facebook? Do we trust Facebook? I mean, it's a hilarious question if you think about it. I personally don't, because I don't know about you, but if you're using Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, by now you've probably noticed that you simply need to type something, just talk about something, and you start seeing targeted ads about what you were, a private conversation you were having. And you start seeing targeted ads, popping up on screen on any of these platforms that you're using. And so if we expose, and I say expose because privacy is almost dead at this point, if we expose Facebook to all our personal data, it's only a matter of time. And I mean, they've insisted on how secure Libra will be. They've actually gone on to say that a subsidiary company called Calibra is going to be in charge of Libra, right? And that a Libra association will oversee the Libra blockchain. Now, this association is going to be made up of these founding partners, and the general idea is every company in it is going to have one vote. Now, the general target that they have is that this association is going to be made up of 100 companies. Right now, we have 27 or 28 of them out there, and they're all going to have to decide on everything that happens on the blockchain. Now, if I have to think about it, this is a very centralized system. But then in their white paper, they've actually said that they hope to actually move on to become a decentralized system in the future, or say in the next 5 years. Now, how is this going to be possible? To be honest, nobody knows, and it doesn't really make much sense. I can't see how it's going to be possible, especially with all the skepticism and all that is going on online today. Now, the way I see this is if they have, say, 100 companies in there, the best thing I can imagine it will be like, and this is pure speculation on my part, is that it's going to work kind of like Parliament, where you have to get a majority vote to decide what goes on in place. Obviously, if it's anything like Parliament, you're going to have a whip who is going to go around and try and lobby all the other companies. I mean, this is the stuff we're not going to know about, but this is how I imagine it's going to happen. And lobbying other companies, trying to gather votes for one thing over the other. And so either way, anyhow you look at it, we're not going to be in control. Our information is going to be out there, and whatever happens out there happens, because really this is moving so far away from the traditional idea of cryptocurrencies and the blockchain, where everything is public and people are in control of their money and what goes on with it. So I mean, this is a con, but you have to weigh it, and this is no pun at the Libra balance scale, but you really have to weigh it and decide what you're going to do with it. But the facts about Libra, and I'm going to try and round up here, is that one, I mean, it's definitely going to help promote the blockchain and the information about cryptocurrencies. It's I would say it's going to be good for Bitcoin, because I believe obviously you're going to be able to buy Libra both with fiat, so the traditional banking system is not going away, and you're also going to be able to buy it with cryptocurrencies because it would definitely be interchangeable the same way all other stable coins can be flipped, with most cryptocurrencies. And so it's definitely going to bring liquidity to the market. There will be more use cases for cryptocurrencies going forward. Now, Libra is basically promising a few things, okay? They're saying that they're going to be able to make faster payments. They're going to have little to no fees for cross-border payments. I don't know how much lower they could bring cross-border payment transaction fees down, because if you think about it, I mean, there are so many other companies right now that are trying to do it. Ripple is also making great strides in the cross-border payments sector, and I'm quite a fan of what they are doing, despite the fact that nobody seems to really love Ripple. But I mean, use case scenarios, I'm all for use case scenarios, and by all means, they can have at it if they can do this, and if they can make sure you can send money easily, because the goal of this thing is to simplify lives as much as possible, okay? So if they can pull it off, that's by all means, that's fine. I'm gonna wait to see how it's done. There's also the angle that is going to be able to facilitate microtransactions, so you could easily use it to buy stuff like coffee, pizza, the more random things that you'll be less inclined to use your Bitcoin in today's world to pay for. Institutional investors are definitely going to be keen on it, because I mean, this way they can actually keep their money in the cryptocurrency space and not be subject to as much volatility. So obviously, if people are investing in them, they have ways to actually stabilize the currency in a way that they're not losing out. Facebook is already talking about making a Calibra wallet. It's going to most likely be integrated into WhatsApp and other Facebook apps, so they will have a huge advantage, and of course you'd have where to keep this. It's going to be quite similar to Apple Pay and Samsung Pay, and now that I mention it, if you think about it, Facebook Coin, Libra Coin, is fair competition to Apple Pay and Samsung Pay, because why not, right? So I think the real big question though is, why would you want to use it? So yeah, you probably don't need to use Libra Coin like at all. You can simply continue to be in other cryptocurrencies and enjoy the fact that it's going to bring in new liquidity. If PayPal and stuff like Venmo work for you already, you definitely don't need it. Now, if you just want to try it out, if you are all for technology and seeing what's in it, how it can work, that's fine. If you're a developer, I mean, they've said that their blockchain is going to be open to everybody to build apps and softwares on top of their blockchain, the Libra blockchain. And so that is another reason you might want to use it. So yeah, this is all stuff that I want you to be able to think about. But I guess the key takeaway for this is that I want people to understand that Libra Coin is not something that you invest in. It's a stable coin, and to be honest, it's not a real cryptocurrency, but it's probably not even a conventional stable coin if you think about it, because of the way it works. But I mean, besides the technical jargon, it's going to do what it says it's going to do. And do I believe it's going to succeed? I actually do think it's going to succeed, because, well, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they're huge, people. And as much as the cryptocurrency space dislikes this idea, the truth about it is we all need to think about what we really want in this space, and I think that is adoption. And so what I want you to do is hit me up in the comments, let me know what you think about Libra Coin. Do you think Facebook is making a huge rush at our data? Do you think there's any privacy left there? Can we trust Facebook? Pretty much. Where do you see Libra Coin going? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this kind of content, you know what to do. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.